Regan with Regan, and for this week's episode, we are going to talk about one of my favorite shows. It's called Walking Dead, and we're going to talk about the best deaths on the show and the characters' hardest deaths to get over on the show. Probably, we're going to talk about the first section of the best characters to be off the show first. I'm not going to go in any particular order because right now we are, by we I mean my mom and I, are rewatching the show. So I'm not going to go in any particular order. But I would have to say that probably the best death as far as evil villains goes, I would have to say my favorite character to leave the show would have to be Daryl's brother, Merle. He was an insane, creepo person, and I had a bad feeling with him from the start of the show. He just kind of gave me the creeps, and I didn't like that. Probably one of my favorite scenes ever in the first season was the fact that he got his hand bit off from a walker, and that kind of served as the first part of revenge for him, because he's not a very nice character, and I didn't like him, like I said, from the start of the show. Number 2, as one of the most villainous characters, is probably the governor. I don't exactly remember which community the governor was a part of, but he was just creepy as heck. I mean, he kept his daughter sort of alive, if you will, by like brushing her hair and kind of just playing with her like she was a doll. I didn't like that at all. I thought it was disgusting and just flat out gross. I've never liked the character that the governor played, and he rubbed me the wrong way so many different times. No. So, unfortunately, right now, I think, as of right now, that's probably, if we're watching this show back in real time, that's probably everybody that I can think of. But we'll just move on to the hardest deaths as of lately with the show. In season 1, there were a lot of characters that I had a difficult time letting go of. Specifically, Lori Grimes, Carl's mother and Rick's wife. This is back when they were in the prison, and she ends up having to go into early labor with their baby. And unfortunately, she loses a lot of blood, and Carl ends up having to shoot her because of, I'm sorry about the, there we go. I'm sorry about the lighting, y'all. I'm trying to film with natural lighting, and it's kind of biting me in the butt. So that's what we're having to deal with. But Lori's death probably is the hardest for me to get over emotionally because that's really the first sort of death that Carl has to perform by himself, and it's really heartbreaking. Among those are Jackie, Tyrese, Beth, Herschel. Most recently, the hardest deaths to overcome in the show were Glenn and Abraham's. Because Negan, he is just, I don't know what to do with him. He's just evil and rude, and he, for lack of a better term, he tends to keep people and lock them up in like prison cells, and he has multiple wives, if you will. I guess in this world it doesn't really matter who you're married to or not. You can have multiple relationships with whoever, but he tends to keep these women as kind of like his property, and he can use them however he sees fit, and I don't like that at all. So I am waiting for the day that Rick and his family sort of give Negan the starvation and death that he deserves, because he is just extremely evil. It was very difficult for me to watch Rick realize that the love of his wife has passed on, and he now has to deal with the fact that he has a newborn baby and a son, and he has to figure out how they're gonna make it work. And fortunately, along the way, he's picked up a lot of new family members. Some of them have been my absolute favorites, and some of them you can really tell that they're extras, and they're just fillers for the real people. Probably another one of my unfortunate deaths with the show is Maggie's sister and father, Herschel and Beth. Herschel is Maggie's father, and he unfortunately, he gets bit twice. Once in the leg, and they save him from being infected with the leg. He has to be amputated. Twice he gets bit from another walker, or stabbed. I think it was stabbed. But that was very difficult for me to deal with. As I said, The Walking Dead, it is my favorite show. But sometimes it's very difficult to watch because you get so attached to these characters and the stories that they build. And so I'm not quite there to the current season yet, but I have watched up until now the current season. So unfortunately I know what happens, but I'm not ready to rewatch it, if that makes sense. So my question to y'all is this. If you've seen The Walking Dead, the original, not the one where they go to Texas or anything like that, but if you've seen the original, what are your favorite moments and what are your least favorite moments? Comment down below. I'd love to have a conversation with y'all on different character plots and all of that stuff. So, leave your answers down below on what were your least favorite moments and your most favorite moments, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Always remember that the greatest compliment y'all can give me is a referral. So, that means that if you see somebody that needs some positivity in their day, then feel free to leave them my link, and I will be happy to help them in any way possible. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week. Bye!